Alright, so welcome ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Play Sonic Adventure 2 Part 12. We are now going to return to Hidden Base. This is Robotics Desert. This is Robotics sand level. I guess you could say desert level, whatever. But what we are doing now is we are clearing the way, and that's why we didn't meet as much. This is why we didn't meet as much gun resistance as we did with Tails, is because you go through here with Robotnik and pretty much clean it out. Of course, there was a few, but not nearly as much as there will be here. And I'm pretty sure you don't fight any of Robotnik's robots while you're as Robotnik, obviously, but I believe it's all just gun forces, and a lot of things that can shoot back at you, so you want to be very careful while you're moving around. A lot of areas where you have to blow up some dynamite to knock some pillars down. A lot of those areas you don't gain anything from blowing up those canisters, like points wise, but you do have to be able to move on through the level. Really quickly, this is kind of stupid and a waste of time. Well, a waste of time, but see, you want to be careful trying to get out of here, because usually the camera angle won't allow you to see and walk at the same time where you're going. So you'll have to be very careful. Kind of check it like I did beforehand, before moving up. It's about the best way to get through it. And so you can see, keeping up with oil. Well, I was gonna say keeping up with oil ocean from Sonic 2. You can see Robotnik has some oil refineries in the background that he obviously uses. We don't want those bats, so if we can get those birds. But he has a lot of oil. It would seem he has a lot of oil refineries, as he most of the time does. But I mean, he needs fuel to power all of his robots and machines, and well, maybe not too many of his robots, but his machines more so. His egg walker and all of his other contraptions he uses to try and defeat Sonic with. So really can't blame him. And the desert is a great source for oil, so. But anyway, sadly we never do get to fly around in Robotnik's Eggmobile with Robotnik, and that would make this level a lot easier, and a lot of other levels coming up a lot easier if we could. But they've decided to go ahead and use the egg walker, so really can't complain too much about it. But all of those pots had rings in them, so if you want to, there isn't too many rings in there. I'd say there isn't more than. Gotta keep on the move here. Forgot you had to shoot at these to destroy them. I wouldn't. It really isn't worth the time trying to go after those rings in those pots. I wouldn't say there's more than 10 in there. 9 to, well, trying to figure out how many rings are in there, but I've never actually taken the time. Took the time it takes to look and try to figure all of that out. But for the early part of the Dark Side story, it is a lot of just Robotnik, doing Robotnik levels. And then towards the middle and later on towards the end, it does get towards more Shadow and Rouge. But for the first couple levels here, it is all Robotnik. So if you don't like this style of level, it does suck. But it's kind of like Tails. Well, I guess Tails got a lot more than a lot of characters did. Really quickly, a good way for points here is if you can try to link up a lot of these dynamite packs, try to destroy them all at once. Of course, you're not going to be able to destroy every one of them, but you can at least knock down 2 pillars with enough shots. Alright, yeah, so this is the one where I thought it was supposed to be covered with gun robots. Now, if you can get right up on him, you can actually use your egg punch, as it's called, and to destroy that robot without it hurting you. But if you do have a shield, it doesn't really hurt. It doesn't really matter all that much.
That wasn't so difficult.
If I, it did, you know, that was a pretty crappy time-wise, just going through the level, and I didn't go for as much score as I could have. I didn't try to link up as many robots as I could have. A lot of those, this is another one of those levels, you know, they give you so many opportunities to try to gain more score by linking up different objects like the dynamite packs and the robots, that they expect you to be able to go through that and do that process. I know I said I wouldn't mess around too much with the Chow, but as I've said before, I do want to try and level up the Chow good enough to a point now, instead of trying to do it off camera and wasting a lot of time. You know, if I can take about a minute and a half to pass out some animals and chaos drives to a couple Chow, so I can get them leveled up enough where I don't repeat the disaster of Sonic Adventure, where that Chow, I believe he lost, I'm pretty sure. So I don't want to repeat that mistake, and you know, it doesn't take all that long, and it's just a little bit less that I have to do towards the Chow special. I'll try to make that a little bit bigger than I did, show off a little bit more than I did with Sonic Adventures.
Chaos Emerald in the Space Colony Ark. I've got to find out just what's going on up there.
We interrupt this broadcast for an important news flash. There has been a break-in at the Federal Reserve Bank today. Mysteriously, the only thing that was stolen was the Chaos Emerald. According to eyewitnesses at the scene, the suspect was identified as the world-renowned hero, Sonic the Hedgehog. The suspect was seen fleeing the scene, destroying the reserve's guard robots in his path. Stay tuned for more details.
The work of Shadow.
And now we'll get play as Shadow for the first time.
How pathetic. Before they escape. Revenge.
So it would seem Shadow is remembering an old promise made to a friend about revenge, and now we get to play a Shadow on his best level, really. It's kind of like City Escape. It has the background and everything of Mission Street, but this is supposed to be the city level for Shadow. And there will be a few times where there is some bombing going on, like in Mission Street, but not nearly as bad as that. And this is also a great place for run, if you need run, especially for a dark running Chow, or just any type of chow really. And you know, you get to play as Shadow, so couldn't ask for too much else. That's right, we need the light speed dash to get that. But where that line of rings was, that's how you get the fire bracelet for Shadow, so he can destroy metal crates. So we'll come back and go after that. And it's one of those you can miss it level items. It's not a story item. You know, you don't need it to progress through the story or even finish the story, so it's not a needed thing. But for this level, this is a unicorn level, so we'll go after that. We'll go after the unicorn if we can. And there's a lot of rails or ramps and stuff that you can jump on. Now, if you can go after, if you could have got up here, you'll gain an additional set of points. I believe 600 for jumping off that rail, just like you gain 500 for landing on it. I believe you'll gain 600 for jumping off of it without touching the ground, of course. But this one is really fast, you know, it doesn't take too long. And it's another... Actually, this one's pretty hard to go after the A rank for, because they give you so many little things and a lot of enemies to go after. Alright, so don't worry about any of that. Just, you can jump on that beam and keep going. So you don't have to worry about going after the on all those cylinders and everything like that. You don't have to worry about risking it. And if you do fall, you'll just fall down to a lower level and you won't die. You'll just have to go down through the lower level, and then there's a jet that will come and try to will shoot at you down there. But that is the fastest and best way to go, especially if you're trying to go for the time limit. And it's just a lot easier to do. So you can see, if you can stick the jump and make the trick on the suspension cable, you'll gain 1,000 points for doing that. And there's different little stuff you can do to gain score throughout this whole level. You know, just jumping on rails, jumping off of sign poles, jumping off ramps. The rails I'm talking about, the suspension cables, you know, just different stuff like that. And so there we go, that's Radical Highway. Like I said, really fun level. It's my favorite level for Shadow, as I said.
Ultimate victory.
Okay. I swore that one was a little bit harder to go after the A rank for. Anyway, so I'll show off Shadow's whistle and what he picks up and does everything, just so I can get that out of the way, so I can focus more on the chow other than the characters and how they interact with the chow. I won't put you through giving out the chow and everything, but let's see, where is he at? Cool. This is the pick up, pet. If any chow that is really good at flying is on one of those rocks at the top of the waterfall, he will fly off of it and do different circles and in the air and stuff. Won't do no loops or nothing fancy, just that kind of stuff. If a chow does that, it means it's tired, but I said I wasn't going to do all that. So thanks for watching. The challenge of the video is, how many points did I get for tricks in Radical Highway? Not enemy, just tricks. You know, jumping off suspension cables and rails and signposts and all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Until next time.